There we go. I just thought I'd let people enjoy the new soundtrack a little bit. So I've finally been given access to the Panzer Corps 2 soundtrack. Hopefully it's copyright free. So very big thank you there to Sullivan for allowing me to actually have access to that, which is really nice of them. They gave me the Marshall's edition of Panzer Corps 2, which is actually ironic. One more L and that would be my name, so practically I owned it before I owned it, so there we go. So yes, unfortunately I do not have time to do a proper stream today, which is a shame, because I was hoping to actually get one in today, but unfortunately not. I shall be shortly streaming for Slytherin, in fact, so I thought I'd go through the actual THG turn. There's actually not a tremendous amount that needs to be done here. It is actually a pretty quick and pretty simple turn. Is that a little bit too loud, or is it because I'm just not used to it? Probably because I'm not just used to it, really. I did that's okay. So yes, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be in another days of rest at Singapore here. You can see they're at 49 fatigue, 16 disruption, sorry, not destruction, not yet. So I'm going to allow that to just continue to tick on. He's likely level 3 qualifications, which is to be assured, I'd imagine, at this point. I'm going to be carrying out a local level of bombing campaign. So let's see. Yes, I'm going to be sending 30% of this squadron over here to begin with. I think what I might do is actually send... yeah, we'll go with 60 and then build it up from there. They're being escorted by their KI-27s. The Zeros, the Orskers and the Zeros over here, they're going to be running 70% rest and 30% combat air patrol, long-range combat air patrol, over the Mega Force now. I've combined it here, it has finished unloading, which is superb. Cancel that unloading, otherwise we'll be trapped here. So they've finished. This is going to be moving out as well, so they're going to be heading back to Sinkwang. So the good news is we're going to be getting out of Palembang shortly. We can potentially beat up a couple more actual subs around here. I did think about actually having these guys in a separate task force, but it's probably worthwhile just to have them as one task force here for the time being, just to keep things moving. It's a lot of ships here that I do want to cover. I don't want to have separate task forces, and things actually get hit or destroyed. We can get through this. It's only a PT boat, so we should be able to get through that quite nicely. Once we're through with there, it also means it's easier to actually LRCAP a single task force than it is to do multiple ones, so I'll go with that. We know he still has bombers here, but those numbers have been reduced. I have ordered a deliberate attack over here at Palembang. I do not envision this to be a successful attack. I do not envision that we will have success this day upon the first attack. It's probably going to be a grind and attritional battle. I do not know what level of fortifications we're going to be facing here at Palembang. Likely quite high. I don't know particularly what it's going to look like. We have 286 AV. We're going to have to be quite conscientious with it and use it wisely, essentially. But that's not too bad. What I'm going to be doing then is over here at BLeAcHACiD, I'm going to be loading additional forces, 3 naval guard units, not this one in fact, but I will actually make use of that supply. Actually, I'm going to need this supply here in fact, so that can actually be unloaded. So we'll have it unloaded then. Okay. This is going to be moving to Benjamarson. We actually do have a headquarters, the 5th Fleet headquarters, which is a command headquarters, which will allow me to use torpedoes from Benjamarson, which is good news. The good news is it gives us another torpedo base out here, which he's actually not aware of at this moment in time. Now, this force is going to be making its way towards Palembang shortly. I'm going to have it covered by a heavy cruiser and some destroyers over here, but I'm carrying the 83rd, the 65th, and the 64th Naval Guard units, which is another 180 AV there in the 3 units, because they're all 60. I'm going to have them sent to Palembang. I'll have them actually, let's see. I'll have them change over. There we go. I'm liking the new music. The new music's really quite nice. So I will have them sent towards Palembang. We do have the ability to project air power now, which is good, and I will be using that to our maximum advantage. It seems his carriers have continued to head south. We did have some reports. Well, we don't have reports per se, but I do have 10 out of 10 detection over a submarine. We do have other submarines in the area. It looks like the one furthest to the south is also the one that has been detected, which is the one I was previously talking about. So it seems as if he's heading towards Australia, which is interesting. He may turn about, but what we're going to do is we're going to use this time, try and force him to have to change his mind, really. He may not do so, which is actually a negative. There's positives in both, there's negatives in both. If I could actually force him to change his mind and actually turn around and head back with his carriers. Meanwhile, we have obviously get everything out of the way. And then that'd be quite good. It gets into his, sort of decision loop I think that would be the word there. Right, so they're heading there. Mo's going to head down there to Benjamin, which is good. So I'm going to be moving additional aviation. So how would I say that? Additional assault value up for the Java Sea here. I do have Oscars I positioned over here. Be careful for the Oscars. I'm going to have additional aviation in here tomorrow as well. Supplies. We're going to have vastly more here shortly, which is good. Make sure that they actually remain here. And that they're on absolute. Right, there we go. I took the KI-43s from over here. I still have 27 over here, with another 10 to be repaired, so that brings us to 37. I have zeros over here, so you can see we have 16 zeros, another 12 zeros there in repair. There's another 17 zeros over here that are under repair. Just one left to repair, and then I'll shift them over. I might as well move it as a single group, so it's only going to be one more day. It gives these guys a lot of time to repair. You can see some of these guys have got a lot of fatigue, like 102 is ridiculous. So we're going to get that done, and then we'll shift them over there. The G4s will be ready tomorrow as well. So we are able to now exercise a large amount of air power, which is a good thing, very good thing. So yes, we're going to wait for the additional forces over here at Singapore, sorry, from Johor Bahru to arrive at Singapore tomorrow. If I take a look over here, so we'll take a look at in movement mode. You can see that we have 2 independent engineering units. We do have some additional artillery, but I don't think these artillery units will arrive. But the independent engineers will arrive tomorrow, which is good. I need them to all plan for Singapore, in fact. There we go. So set all, make sure everybody's planning there. So yes, that's fine. I think it's worthwhile waiting a day to actually get the engineers there. It means that we have a high chance to load the fortifications and cause more damage there, really. It gives us more to work with, in general. We will overwhelm Singapore. It should never have got to a point where we had to do this, but alas. The 38th Division is marching south to Singapore. It's going to take some time, but they will be there in a few days. They've got 4 days to cover to get to Johor Bahru, and then they'll have 2 days to go from Johor Bahru to Singapore. But the good news is they won't shock attack when they actually cross here due to the overwhelming AV advantage that we have there at Singapore. It will fall. What we will do then is we'll have AV funneled here to Sumatra. We'll conquer Sumatra in its entirety, at least to a practical extent, and then we will take Java. And from that point, we will absolutely gun for Burma and India, essentially. I will have my air HQ in position shortly. It's moving towards this position here, which is not perfect, but it would still allow me to use torpedoes from Bangkok. I could potentially even have it, like, just march over here. But as long as it's within range, then that's fine. But we are going to launch a grand air campaign here shortly. I'm going to go ahead and actually drop the paratroopers over here. I'm using some KI-43s to actually run a little bit of escort over here. So using the L3Y2s and the KI-56s. So they're going to be dropping troops over there, the Yokosuka 3rd SLF. The Yokosuka 3rd SLF has 20 preparation for Port Blair. The house rules are now amended. That 10 preparation is the requirement, so we have more than... Well, we have doubled the preparation requirement, which is good. In China, our forces are marching, which is good. Still waiting on the vast majority over here, so let's see. Yes, they're marching to Wuchang in combat mode. I'm going to have them actually into movement mode. So, set all to movement mode. You, the 35th Division, I'm going to have actually move over here to the north. So I don't know why, but for some reason it just does not allow me to do that, oddly. Very odd, very odd. So they're going to move there. Okay. That will give us the actual AV that we need here. Oh, actually, no. Let's see. Right, okay. So I'm going to have to keep you here. Okay, well, that's fine. These guys can move there. That's okay. Air power still stood down here for the time being. We're still doing our reconnaissance. I don't really have much of a need to use that air power as of this moment in time. Okay. So they're resting. Right. So that's 149 AV, that's 105 AV. They have engineers. They also have engineers, but these guys have actually less engineers, which is interesting. They do have the IJ engineers, however. Okay. I would like a 3rd division here, but I don't anticipate him actually crossing. It looks like he's sending men this way now, which is intriguing. They shouldn't be in that mode. No, not yet. Right, they can remain there. In fairness, I probably... Yeah, I do want a division there. I might take this division here and have it rounded back. I'm going to take the 15th Division, actually have that moved to the front lines. They can just sit there and rest and recuperate, but just dig fortifications for us. I want to make sure we have a strong defense here, just in case it gets any wise ideas. It does deprive us of a couple divisions, but it is well worthwhile to make sure that this area is entirely safe. Forces moving out over here. This unit can be put into rest mode then. Have an army commander here that can move away. Move down towards Changsha. There we go. So at Nanyang, we do have a divisions on the way. They're already marching upon Nanyang itself now, so they're not too far out. If they move further today, then I don't think they won't arrive tomorrow, but they will arrive a day after, which is good news. I can actually put them into combat mode. I do have my forces over here. What we'll do then is we'll relieve the siege in Nanyang. Well, we'll relieve the siege of the mixed brigade to the north, in fact, by attacking his forces at Nanyang. I'd like to move upon this force. I'm going to have these guys continue to move this way for the time being, due to the fact that they are in a dangerous position in clear terrain, due to them being so weak. So I want to move them at least to the ×2 terrain, where they might have a better chance. And then what we're trying to do is try and flank them if we can. Though in some ways it's actually working to our benefit to actually keep the status quo as such. We do have armor moving up this way. We do have, obviously, reinforcements moving to the north, so that's quite good. Moving up over here as well, so we'll try and get into position here, reinforce that position, make it difficult for him to push us out there, essentially. In Luzon, obviously, things are pretty much sedentary, which is not exactly ideal. I need to get these guys out here, set them to rest. I'm going to be bombarding over here at Cagayan, so I'm going to be launching bombardments daily now. I do have additional forces that are arriving over here in Mindanao to actually get the garrisons there, which is good news. These forces are going to be rested and then moving on towards the base that cannot be named. And then we'll take that base there and be rid of all the allied forces here. I do need to take these guys here. Now, if I take a look, I might go ahead and actually risk a deliberate attack over here. Give them a go. They have... Well, fatigue's up there, but then again, fatigue's always going to be up there anyway. So I think we'll launch a deliberate attack and see how the results are over here at Kuching. It would be nice to force a collapse there, but I doubt it's going to happen immediately. Unloading forces over here, these guys are protected. I took the APs that were empty and moved them into the port where they're missing. So we're protecting ourselves there. We are going to be moving additional forces here to Cagayan. Obviously, there's a little bit of additional supply moving into Mindanao as well, which is good. So, we're just essentially gearing up for things. And we've drawn the forces over here back towards Safety Rabal. I am going to take the Minikavadai, and I'm going to have that actually begin to move this way. It's going to be escorted by a number of actual ASW forces. I do have about 16 or so destroyers, I think, in port over here. 18 destroyers, in fact, but I do need to actually allocate elsewhere. The submarines are here as well. They're heading south. What I'm going to do is actually get fuel to move down towards the south and actually turn either Luganville or one of the other ports in the area into a submarine logistical center, really. We do very much need to reorganize the actual divisions out that way. Well, the actual submarines out that way. So, these guys are going to head towards Babaldine for the time being. I may have them actually potentially head towards a large port to just undergo repairs, perhaps. But what I will likely do is use that air power here to potentially... Combined Fleet is returning. I may have them potentially poke their heads into the Fiji area, but I think I'd probably be better off waiting for the BB support to actually be on station so we can actually make good of our commitments there. Now, the battleship... you need to be sent back to Japan, so I can have you sent back. So I'll do that after the video. So Nagato is 2 days out from being fully repaired, which is good. So we can have Nagato go south then alongside the other BBs as we move our way to bombard Fiji. But that might take some time, as I'm going to possibly try and carry out a few more bombardments over here. Even if it's a few heavy cruisers, then it's probably still worthwhile. I do have some Zeros I took off for one of the actual carriers over here to run long-range combat air patrol over the actual battleships. A couple Zeros is alright, yeah, I can manage that for the time being. I'm going to clear this area up and make good of it, really. The division here is going to obviously rest and regain supply. This force over here did prove to be fairly resolute, but the good news is the airfield is 100% buggered. The port is buggered. He's not going to be building any new fortifications for quite some time now. So we do have a little bit of a luxury there. So when we do actually bring in our fortifications, it will be more likely to succeed. It doesn't seem like he had more than one level 1 fortifications, but that's fine. What we'll do is obviously like bring more firepower. Well, not so much for firepower, but more consistent firepower, like attack each day if we can. That might be worthwhile. But it's going to take some time. I might look towards bringing some additional reinforcements here, but the good news is Port Moresby isn't too far from collapse. I'd like to take this base so that these forces do surrender outright. And this is the issue as well. Moresby's ×2 terrain, so it's difficult. Thank God it's not ×3 terrain like Numea was, but still difficult really. There we go. So, not that much going on. I am sad that I didn't get to do this as a stream. There will be streams in the future. Well, yeah, things are more or less underway like that. We're going to be just looking towards conquering Sumatra ASAP, really. One more day of rest here. I might just bombard, perhaps. I think potentially bombardment's worthwhile then. Yeah, we'll bombard. Yeah. Can judge the AV event somewhat, so go for a bombardment. So yeah, that's about it. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. There will be more streams coming in the future. I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am. Goodbye for now. Tenno, Heika, Banzai. Thank you to all of those patrons who do support me, and to all of you viewers as well. If you are new to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe. It does help the channel to grow. Comment down below with what you think. And yes, we'll be going forward, and going forward gloriously. We're not too far away now from the mass reorganization that we need, which is essentially critical. And what I mean by that is actually freeing up AV, getting headquarters, getting engineers to where they need to be. Oh, another quick note is additional engineers will be moving towards Ley. I've set up a mine sweeping task force over here, so they're going to be moving in there. But what I will be doing then is moving engineers in here to Ley and engineers in here to Gazmata. What I'm going to look towards doing is actually building up Solomon Islands. If he's bringing his carriers, they seem to be round about this area here. So if you take a look, yes, 10 out of 10. They seem to be in this area over here, which is not too far away from obviously this area. So what we will do then is we'll build this area up. I do have these G3s. I may contemplate using them to bomb Port Moresby for a time, but I think I'll probably be better off potentially shifting them further to the south, perhaps. We'll have to see. We do have some time to mess around at Fiji, so we'll use that. The interesting thing is, I'm sending a lot of submarines down south as well to have something of a picket line here. If we can try and force him to engage us here, or try to draw him into an engagement here, then that's quite good. What I'd probably look towards doing is just having our air power, let's say the carrier air power, just essentially use from the islands, use from the actual land bases, and have the carriers remain out of reach, essentially. I think that would be the way we look to operate. But we shall see then. So thank you so very much. Until next time, goodbye.